Hi guys, welcome back to my 30 Days of Thankful project. Today I am sharing with you days 1 through 3 in my album. If you're interested in seeing kind of how the Traveler's Notebook came together and or the embellishments, you can check out my 30 Days of Thankfulness playlist, and I'll try to link those videos below as well so that you guys can get to those easily. But today I am working on, like I said, days 1 through 3, and I am going to be breaking these up kind of in chunks just to make them a little bit more manageable videos. They get a little bit long if I do too many days at one time. So today I wanted to share with you how I made these pages. And for the first one, I am just taking a picture that I had trimmed down to about a 3 by 3 or so square, maybe a little bit smaller. And I backed it with some pattern paper, and then I'm taking some tissue paper and crumpling it kind of up to give it some texture, and then just trimming down the edges. And then on the left-hand side, you're going to see that I'm using one of the Today I'm Thankful For cards that came in the, what is it called? The kit that I bought. Now I'm going to not remember the name of it. I'll remember before the end of the video, but also I can let you know where I got those cards from. But I am using a card that came in the kit to do all of my pages, and then a homemade embellishment that I made that's on the left hand side as well. But first I'm going to finish this right hand side. This is a little brown bag that I got in a little goodie bag that I went to a crop for, and they gave these little goodie bags out, so I added that to the layout. And then I'm also just taking an offcut of a piece of paper that I had left over from making the Traveler Notebook covers, and I'm just using that little strip to add a little bit of a colored accent there to the right hand side. And I'm making the bag and the strip be off center a little bit just to give it a little more interest. And with the bag, I'm not going to be putting anything in it. A lot of times I'll use those little bags and things to put hidden journaling in or ephemera or something else, but this time I'm just going to be using it as a design element. I liked the kind of peaked edge, I think that's what it's called, the little serrated edges of the top of the bag, and I thought that was adding some nice texture. Plus I thought the brown went well with the embellishment that I have there on the left hand side of the little deer. So I've already added my journaling to the today card, and now I'm just going to add a few more bits and pieces to, I think, both the right and left hand side, just to fancy it up just a bit more. This is a tab that I punched out of some of the foiled paper that came in the paper pad that I'm using. And then I'm going to be adding some strips of washi tape here. I just wanted to bring out some more colors. I thought it was looking a little bit flat, or just not, with enough oomph, I guess. So I'm going to add this really pretty floral washi tape, and then I did rip it down the middle, and I like that textured edge that it gives when you do that, when you rip it. So that is pretty much what the page is going to look like. I am going to look at adding a bit more of this washi tape. I really, really like it, and I thought I could add a little bit more to the page, and I do play around with it a bit, and I finally end up keeping it on this. It's just I had to kind of play around with it until I got it to look nice, and I'm going to put it there, and I think I'm going to put it one more place. Oh, and sorry about that, my dog's barking. Actually, no, I ended up not putting it down there. I just kind of kept it on the two outer edges of the right and left hand page. Now I'm moving on to day 2, and you're going to see that I forgot to number or date my pages. I am going to go back, I think, in maybe the second video that I'm going to show of my days, where I'm going to go back and date stamp these. I totally forgot to do that when I was making these pages. So I got to about day 4 or 5, I think, and realized that I hadn't dated them. So I'll take a roller date stamp in a matching ink color to the layout, and then I'll go back and date these a little bit later on. Like I said, I think I'll show that in the second video of the days. So now I'm just working on the day 2, and I am layering the tissue paper between some of the pattern paper. So I'm going to first put my photo down, and then I put the tissue paper, and I tore the edges just to give it an interesting look. And then I'm going to put the colored paper or the pattern paper behind the tissue paper. And I'm going to rough up the edges of that pattern paper just to give it a bit more interest, because I did tear the tissue paper edges, and I thought it would look nice to also rough up the edges of the pattern paper. I'm just using my scissors. I do have a distress tool somewhere in my stash, but I don't have it right there with me, so I thought the scissors worked just as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing, just to kind of rough up those edges. For this layout, I'm also using one of the little handmade embellishments that I had made previous to this video. Again, I made those just to kind of speed up the process, so I had some fun things to add to the page without taking up a lot of a time when I was actually making each of the individual pages. So for this one, I am going to layer up some pattern paper on pretty much the full side of the left hand side, and I just thought I would add a little bit more color. Some of the other pages, or the first page I had made, just had some layering of that picture itself, but not a full page of the pattern paper, and I really like this leaf print, so I thought I would use a larger sheet of it. So like I said, I had layered up the photo on some tissue paper, then some pattern paper, and then I thought it would look nice to add some white cardstock to the back of the photo. Again, just to do some separating from the photo between that and the background piece of paper. So you're going to see that going down here in just a second. But first I'm going to add this little embellishment on top of it to make sure I kind of get it in the right position. And then once I am satisfied with where I have that, I'm going to stick the little whole picture and cluster down on that page. Now I'm just going to add my journaling here to this card. Again, these are the cards from the kit, and it was Feed Your Craft. I knew I'd remember before the video was over. So it's the kit that I got. It came with these cards, some embellishments and some other things, a stamp set. I did show what the kit contents were in a previous video in this playlist, so you can definitely check that out as well if you'd like to see what came in the kit. So now I am just going in and using some more offcuts of the pattern paper here. So these are just some leftover strips, and I'm layering these, and before I end up putting them down, I will use my scissors to distress the edges so it matches the left hand side of the page, and then I'll glue these strips down. Again, I'm just trying to add a bit of accent, and I wanted to also bring in that same pattern paper that I had on the left hand side, so I'm going to add that there. Now I'm just going to kind of glue everything down, and any of the edges that are overlapping will just be trimmed off with my scissors. And now I'm going to work on adding a bit more embellishing to the right hand side. So I had punched out these hearts from some of the pattern paper earlier, and so I'm just kind of going through to see what might look best, and I decide on this more tan heart with a leaf on it, and I just glue that directly down. I thought it fit nicely, snuggled into that journaling there, kind of where it ended. I'm having problems talking. Kind of where it ended, and I'm going to add some of this blue washi tape. I'm just trying to figure out where I think it would look best. I thought I would bring in some of the washi tape that I used on the arrow embellishment on the left hand side, and I'm just going to kind of create a shelf of the washi tape. And what I ended up doing with this is I ripped it in half, and then I just layered the two halves on top of each other just to kind of give a little bit more interest and texture to it. So here is, I believe, the last day that I'm going to be showing you guys in this video, and this is day 3, and this one I have a vertical picture. And it was a 3x4, but I did trim it down a bit so it would fit in my book a little bit better. And what I'm doing is using the cut apart that came in the paper pad and finding one that I thought would go well with this layout. And this is a picture of us scrapbooking. We have a big, huge group that gets together and scrapbooks. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to use the label that says "So Foxy" on it, and I just love the little fox anyway. And I'm going to add that there to that page. But first I'm going to kind of play around a bit more. It looked a little plain by itself, so I thought I could add this foiled punched kind of scallop circle, and I wanted to fancy it up even a bit more, so I'm going to cut off some of the copper thread that I've used throughout this layout and throughout the embellishments, and I'm just going to layer that on top of this foiled scallop circle, and then I'm going to layer the So Foxy on top of all of that and just use a little bit of liquid adhesive because that paper that I have there is pretty shiny, so I thought that would be a better way of making sure everything stays together. And then I'm just going to use a paper clip to kind of hold it while it's drying, and then while I work on the rest of this page. And I love that fine liner bottle because it really gets that tip into places that are hard to reach. So if you're really needing something like that to get into those little spots, that fine liner bottle is a really good buy. I actually got that one from Hobby Lobby, but you can also get it on Amazon if you don't have a Hobby Lobby near you. So now I'm happy with that embellishment, and I have finished my journaling off camera. and I took the paper clip off because everything's dry. And now I just want to add a little bit more color to this page. I really like this wood grain paper. This is another paper pad that I had picked out to use for this project, and it is a paper pad of all wood grain, and it was a 12 by 12 paper pad that I didn't receive, but I picked up from Michael's. And again, I think that was from last year. It's been a little bit since I got that. Now I adhered that photo down, and I'm going to adhere this little cluster that I have on, but it just wasn't sticking very well, so I thought I would pull out my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher, and I added some staples here to that embellishment. I thought it just kind of made it a little more interesting, plus it served a utilitarian purpose by kind of keeping everything together. And then pretty much to top this particular page off, I wanted to add a little bit of washi tape. I thought this yellow washi tape was really pretty, and it matched the today on the card on the left, so I thought that would work really well. And then I'm going to kind of play with that until I get it tucked in enough. I didn't want so much showing, so I ended up tucking it in just a bit more. And then I'm also going to look at adding the same color washi to the left hand side, and again I'll play with it a bit until I kind of get the positioning of the tape where I want it. And I thought to add a little bit more and to bring out the orange of the fox, I would add a little bit of the orange washi tape as well to the left hand side. And because I used the foil paper on the scallop circle on the right, I thought I would punch out a little foil tab to go on the left, kind of just to bring the colors and patterns across the two pages so it looks more cohesive. And I wasn't really satisfied with this. That just felt like something was missing on this layout, so I'm going to play a little bit more with the left hand side, and I am going to take a bit more of that copper thread that I used in the embellishment cluster and kind of tuck it up under the left hand side of the journaling card by the washi tape. I'm just going to, because the copper thread is a bit unwieldy, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue down first so it kind of stays where I want it to, and then I'm going to add a little bit more of the liquid glue to really make sure it stays in place, and then I'm going to put the card down. And then really to top this off, I think the last thing I end up doing is just doing a bit of outlining around the whole entire page. And I think that just kind of brings your eye into the center of the page a bit more, and it's a messy outline. I like that messy kind of look. It's really hard to get a really straight line unless you use a ruler. So instead of using a ruler, I just kind of do a messy line. So that's the 3 pages put together. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Oh, one thing I forgot, I am going to add some enamel dots to this layout as well. I thought again it needed a little bit more texture and dimension, so I thought the enamel dots that came in the kit would be perfect for that. So I am going to add those in before calling this page done. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I hope you are either joining along with this Thankful 30 project with me, or if you're not, hopefully you're enjoying the series and you get some ideas that you might be able to use in some of your traveler's notebooks, or maybe for December daily or things like that are coming up really soon. If you have any questions about anything that I did, also leave those in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I will be back soon with the next set of days. Hopefully in the next couple of days or so I'll have that video up. I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye.